call our City Redevelopment Commission meeting to order. And our first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from April 25th, 2019. So has everybody taken an opportunity to look at those? They're not so complicated. So I would entertain a motion for their approval.
I move to approve.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, so we have a second. We'll say Sandy was first. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously for the approval of the minutes. Our next item on the agenda is the election of 2020 officers. It would be my suggestion that we discuss leaving them the same as they have been in 2019. We can review those if we want to.
I move to accept the officers in position and nominate that slate for this coming year, for the current and coming year.
We have a motion to keep the officers as currently slated for 2020. Do I have a second for that?
I second.
Okay, Kevin second. Final questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Hearing none, motion unanimously carries for the slate of officers to remain the same for 2020. So the next item on the agenda is the TIP access notification letter. It was included in your packet. I think that everybody has reviewed it. It's an administrative duty that we are required to perform every June 15th, saying that we will need all the money that we collect in the TIP district for its use. Is there any questions before we take a vote to approve that letter?
So the county, I'm sorry, the County Development Commission met yesterday to approve basically an identical letter.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I move to approve.
So we have a motion to approve our TIP access letter for 2020. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Devin. So I have any final questions before the vote? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Hearing none, the motion for the TIP access letter is approved unanimously. So the next item on the agenda is our meeting schedule. And we do have money now to consider ideas for its use. So I think it is appropriate that we have another meeting, and maybe two before the end of 2020 to discuss what we may do with the money to improve our TIP area in the city. So what are we thinking about for the next meeting, Laura?
Well, and I think it would be important to pick a meeting time when Mayor Evans is available as well, to get his input.
Do we have a current report from Baker Tilly?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So is
The
the
settlements are
September?
delayed this year.
I'm sorry.
Settlements are delayed this year because
As of
of property tax delay, so.
Delays. So to begin that process of re-looking at the ideas that we worked so hard on previously, and then adding to that additional ideas that are relevant currently, do we want a meeting then in August or September, and then another one at the end of the year, after we would know maybe by the end of the year what our distribution for 2020 would be, right, Laura?
Right.
Theoretically, if it's not delayed.
So we don't know how much money we have yet?
Yeah, we do know how much money we have. Would you like to know that?
Yes, please.
$11,599.54. So that was our first distribution in 2019. And so I don't think the values have suffered significantly from COVID-19, so we would maybe expect a similar amount in 2020. Would that be correct, Laura?
Yes.
So and we had lots of, from the previous work we did earlier, we have lots of good ideas. We're using that money to improve the downtown, so we can talk about that in our next meeting, which will be more fun than just one excess notification letter every year.
Right.
So what month are we thinking? And then we can talk to Shane.
Either August or September sounds good to me. It doesn't really matter, as long as, everyone's available.
So shall we suggest maybe an August meeting? Because then we would have then maybe we could have a end of the year meeting then.
Works for me.
Okay.
Yep, I go for August.
Okay. So we're gonna talk to the mayor about an August date and try, and the day doesn't matter, the time we can do. Sandy likes 8 o'clock for, she's the working among us, so, and
Yeah.
Laura. So we'll talk to Shane about an 8 o'clock meeting in August.
And would it be possible to circulate among the Redevelopment Commission the ideas that we previously generated, just to refresh everyone's memories on that?
Right, so I think we can go back and look at that. I have a file of all the work that we previously did. So I have that on a note to dig that out. So I have that upstairs in my file.
Okay, great.
And go through and look at all that. Good. Is there any other business to come before the commission? Hearing none.
Can we ask questions?
Yes, you can.
Could you share the slate of officers, please?
Yes. So Joe Mayfield, President.
Okay.
Kevin, Vice President. Sandy, Secretary Treasurer. Is that correct, Laura? Perhaps I thought, so that's the slate,
And can you tell me when the 5 people on the commission are going to take their oath?
We can talk to the mayor about that.
Okay.
Maybe see what
Um,
he says about that.
have the 5 people on the commission executed their surety bonds with the state yet?
I don't know. Is
Okay.
it? So Laura can look that up.
And then I was wondering, in 2019, was there an annual budget created and approved by the Common Council for this year?
No, I'll have to go double check, but one reason why we haven't done a budget is that we
No
haven't
money.
been generating revenue. But I don't believe the council would approve a budget. The council would approve any debt service that.
According to the code information given by the State Board of Accounts, the county council has to approve the budget. That's an Indiana code from what the lady shared.
Okay.
We're all
We can
new
do
on
some
the council
research on
this
that.
year. So I was wondering if the previous council had approved the budget, because you said you had money to expend this year.
Right, and this is the 2019 was the first year that we had positive, that we generated any revenue. So we haven't had budgets in the past. I think we did do a budget a couple of times and then quickly realized, well, we have great expense ideas, but no revenue to pay for them.
The money came late last year, so that's why this year will be more appropriate to have more meetings, because we have something to work on. So we can begin that process then in August.
Okay.
And then in the future, we can have, we can do budgets and projects on a routine basis.
Okay. I have one last question. When the TIF district was created, what was the purpose of levying the excess assessed value for this revenue? Was it to support an infrastructure bond, or what was the purpose when it was created?
We did a plan, and basically the plan outlined it's called Economic Development Plan, outlined projects for the downtown central business district area and along the 421 gateway entrance, like Man Chevrolet in that area. We did not have a specific infrastructure bond in place.
Okay.
Bond project in place at the time, but we recognized that this was an area in need of redevelopment and a funding structure to do projects in that area to help revitalize it.
Thank you.
It also provided a means of continuing the investments that the state was going to make as part of Stellar. This was really approved right at the onset of Stellar.
Okay,
So
thank you.
an ongoing means of continuing, the upkeep and maintenance of those investments. And, really, I think one of the things that the state looked for from communities was, how are you going to sustain this? So it was kind of a good faith gesture, as well as a means of executing an economic development plan that we put together at that time.
So is there currently an expiration date for the TIF district?
No, the timeline, the clock does not start ticking on the expiration until we have a debt, until we do a bond issue or enter into debt service.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So it'd be great if we generated enough money to even
we could do a debt service for about $5.
I think we could buy like a used Hyundai with what we're generating.
Oh, man, Chevrolet may not like that.
No.
Yeah, that would be good.
Thank you for the information.
You're welcome, Gail. So any other items of discussion before adjournment? Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting of the Delphi City Redevelopment Commission?
I make a motion that I make a motion that we end our Delphi Redevelopment Commission meeting.
I
Okay.
second that.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Don't think there'll be any opposed. So thank you all for being on this virtual meeting. Our next one we are hoping will be a in-person meeting in August. So we'll talk to the mayor. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good to see all of
Thank
you.
you.
See you.
And,
See everybody.
Bye, Kevin.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yep, see ya.
See you,
Have a good
Sandy.
one, guys.
Okay.
Ladies.